Deb Bradley, who Senator Bradley really spearheaded a lot of this and drove it, not just through the Senate, but through the legislative process. But it's an awesome day, it really is. I want to quickly thank a bunch of folks that made it happen, and a lot of which are here today, working directly with the bankers, working directly with Commissioner Galdieri, who unfortunately could not be here with us today, the folks at Health and Human Services, to really talk about an issue that a lot of folks don't experience, but when they do experience it, it can be just devastating. Devastating to individuals, devastating to families. Taking advantage of vulnerable folks for financial exploitation, to finally put a stake in the ground and to have a process that says enough is enough, and not just on the back end, where I think the Department of Justice and again, a big hats off to the Attorney General for driving a lot of this, but also again working with the banks, those folks that are sometimes right on the front lines, that see it firsthand, that can see that something might not be right, and making sure that there is a checks and balance in that, provide just another layer of protection that until this bill came to fruition just didn't exist. So I'm going to turn it over to Senator Bradley. I just can't thank you enough for making it happen.
Thank you very much, Governor. Like a lot of other great things that you've done during the pandemic and leading this state, you ordered out a great start to a 4th of July weekend.
Boom.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's the man, right?
When I sign this, the fireworks are going to go off.
Yeah, there you go. Look, if the pandemic has shown us, it's shown us a lot of things, but it's also shown us how people have been financially exploited, especially during the pandemic, where more and more things have happened online. Scammers have used the opportunity of the pandemic, which they already had before, to take money away from unsuspecting senior citizens. So like the governor, I want to thank Christy Merrill in particular. Christy is the executive director of the New Hampshire Bankers Association, came to me, brought the whole banking community and said we have to have the tools to be able to protect seniors in New Hampshire. And then obviously Commissioner Shibinette, the entire Department of Health and Human Services, the banking department, the Department of Safety, all the folks that worked with us to craft this legislation. I want to thank my Senate colleagues who are here and folks in the House that there was a lot of back and forth. This building had a little bit of, back and forth, but this bill, because of its importance, went straight through the House. So thanks to Sherm Packard and all of the House members, for their support for this bill. It's a great day. Now you get to do the signing, and the fireworks go because we're protecting New Hampshire seniors.
Absolutely. I don't know. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's here? Because the governor and council met about a month ago, I guess. We had one of our breakfast meetings here, where we got this really in-depth assessment and analysis of what could happen within the walls of this building to help some of those protections happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So back in 2016, the department established for the first time an elder abuse and financial exploitation unit. And the office has really recognized that the exploitation of our senior citizens, the exploitation of our vulnerable populations has become a bigger and bigger problem in New Hampshire. And the office is dedicating additional resources to addressing that issue. We're really thankful to the governor and the legislature for advancing this bill and for signing the bill today, because it will give not only the banking department, the Department of Health and Human Services, it will give the Department of Justice a better ability to track what's happening in the state, and it will give banks and financial institutions a better ability to report when they suspect that financial exploitation is going on, and a better ability to delay disbursement of funds. That will all contribute to more information for our agency and our unit, and the folks who work in this office, and it would better enable them to do their jobs to protect our populations. So we're very grateful.
And the last thing, I also want to recognize the advocates. We have folks here from the Alzheimer's Association and a variety of different groups that just were in on the testimony with the committees working to advocate. Yesterday we recognized what we call the longest day, which really recognizes folks with Alzheimer's, with dementia, and those can be very vulnerable individuals when it comes to these types of issues. So your advocacy has just been awesome, having those words and actually that public support, if you will, and just being able to tell those real stories, which can be absolutely heartbreaking stories, and knowing that we're actually putting some of the protections in place. And I'll thank you guys. So with that, I guess we'll get it tight. Here, everyone come in nice and tight. I'll suck it in. We'll do
No, that's my job.